All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, Jermell Iron Man Charlo speaks out for the first time in a while, seemingly in response to Tszyu saying that he is a coward, and also talks about him and Terence Crawford. Let's talk about that in this video. Channel, it's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo posting on Instagram for the first time in a long time with a very short statement, basically saying, MFers, I'm back. This right on the heels of Tszyu speaking very poorly of him and calling him a coward. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you very much for your continued support. But let's chop it up about this because I'm very happy to hear from Jermell Charlo. It's been a while since he's really said anything, has had some troubles, have had some belts stripped, has had some drama going on over definitely in the year of 2024. 2023 had to be considered a very up and down year for him. He only fought one time, and in that one fight, he lost to Canelo Alvarez. Obviously made a lot of money doing it, but his reputation took that huge hit, and then took another big hit after some recording came out of him saying something that made it seem like he was involved in something that he shouldn't have been involved in with a woman that later on subsequently wound up having been a man, that after that wound up being a woman. So still don't know what's going on with that exactly. However, he was recently elevated to champion in recess by the WBC, and his WBC belt, which is the one of the remaining two that he had, was taken from him. And now Sebastian Fundora is going to be fighting somebody for that on March 30th on the undercard of the Tszyu versus Keith Thurman fight for the WBO 154-pound championship. Now, Jermell Charlo said on Instagram that he is back. He showed a big picture of his new, I don't know what that is. I think that may be a Lamborghini, McLaren, some type of big old, some type of a ridiculously unnecessary rocket ship looking car. But hey, I'm just happy that he says he's back. I hope that means that he's free of whatever legal issues may be have been taking place with him, and that he's willing to get back in the ring and fight these guys at 154 or fight these guys at 160, because Jermell Charlo was the center of the 154-pound division for real. Him having lost to Canelo Alvarez in the way that he lost was not a good look, right? Didn't look good in the fight. Really didn't look like he wanted to engage. I think people really laid on him a little extra heavy, a little too much on him, similar to the way that they treated Shakur Stevenson after he fought Edwin De Los Santos. I think that people really gave him way too much slack for what took place in that fight, but we need to see him back in the ring. I do believe that he has the WBA championship still. The WBO, I think the WBC and maybe the WBC and the WBO. Well, the WBO is definitely gone. The WBC is gone. And I think maybe that the IBF may be vacant. But whatever the case is, he still is really the champion in that division. Similar to when Josh Taylor had dropped his belts at 140 pounds. You know, the guy that is the undisputed champion, that is not lost in that weight class in the ring, is still the champion. So I want to see him fight Tszyu. I'd like to see him fight Sebastian Fundora. I want to see him fight Terence Crawford. And I've always said I didn't care what the coaching situation is with hit with Derrick James, because Derrick James is the trainer. I'd like to see him fight Errol Spence or anybody else at 154 pounds. I hope he comes back and fights at 154 pounds. This is right on the tail end of Tim Tszyu calling the man a coward and saying that he doesn't ever think that he's going to fight him. Man, I think that is really, well, it's not out of pocket for Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu can feel whatever way Tim Tszyu wants to feel. But the fact of the matter is that he won undisputed against Brian Castano in the biggest fight of his career. The man got injured, and then he went up to go fight Canelo Alvarez for life-changing type of money. And I don't think you can really fault anybody for that. As long as what they do is they come back and they defend the titles that they have. And again, Jermell Charlo has one title, so he's still a champion in that division. And all of those guys are on the PBC, or it seems, and as it's been for a while with that particular division, that the PBC has held most of the belts. I think the only person that wasn't with the PBC that held the belt was Tszyu, who got that belt when the WBO, I think, who was he with? I think Tszyu might have been with Golden Boy or something like that. But pretty much ever since Jaime Munguia was there, and during the period of time that Jaime Munguia was the 154-pound title, shortly after that, it pretty much all wound up being with the PBC. And I hope we can get that fight. And I think those are good fights to be made. The fight with Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman, I think, is excellent. An excellent fight to kind of build up the fight with Jermell Charlo. I still don't believe that Terence Crawford is going to be fighting Tim Tszyu or the other guys in that division. Though I still maintain that the Terence Crawford versus Jermell Charlo fight is something that I would like to see, man. Jermell Charlo is not an easy out for anybody. And even at 100, as long as he's not fighting somebody at 168 pounds, at least at 154 pounds, we haven't seen that. I would probably favor Terence Crawford to win the fight. But at the same time, man, I'm not underestimating Jermell Charlo at all. Most important thing about Jermell Charlo is all his fights are exciting. At least the ones that at 154 pounds were all exciting. And he's somebody that is going to fight people because he's already done it. He's already fought everybody and collected all the belts in the division. But it's just interesting, man. I guess the Undisputed Championship is not even or not equal for everybody. When certain people win it, it means a lot more than when other people win it. But to me, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing what the next stage in Jermell Charlo's career is. Again, man, I understand that there's a lot of people, and myself was one of them when I heard that tape where I was like, man, I don't want nothing to do with that dude. But as my head kind of cooled down a little bit and I heard some of the circumstances around it, let's just see it play out. But hopefully we'll get some more good fights with him. And hopefully after Tim Tszyu fights Keith Thurman, and there is Sebastian Fundora probably gets his hands on that WBC belt. Maybe we can see him run that tournament again. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.